Once raised among the hits and glitz of Lagos, Kemi Badenoch now rejects that very identity, claiming she no longer sees herself as Nigerian, arguing her children can't inherit that heritage, and instructing Nigerians to leave their culture at home. In a world that demands allegiances, even those born of African descent must be held accountable. Because when a leader abandons her roots, it's time to call her out. Every African traitor must be named and expelled. When you rise on the shoulder of your people and then turn around to shame them, you are not just an individual failure, you are a liability to the African cause.
I had that citizenship by virtue of my parents. I can't give it to my children because I'm a woman.
I am definitely an Essex girl. That is a fact.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that I represent an Essex constituency. These are my people. I was a London...
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Her Voice. Today's story is a story of willful anesthesia, cultural betrayal, and political hypocrisy by a woman born of African descent, now weaponizing Western platforms to vilify the very descendants that birthed her. Kemi wasn't born poor. She was born in London on January 2nd, 1980, while her mother, Feni, was visiting UK under the disguise of medical treatment. She claims her parents didn't know this was going to lead her, Kemi, to become a citizen. But isn't that hypocrisy? Femi's mother was a lecturer in the US, a psychologist lecturer, and her father owned a medical clinic in Nigeria. It means they were educated, they were well-to-do, and they knew giving birth to Femi in London would make her a citizen. And for Femi now to sit in an interview and say, Africans come and pretend that they are seeking, that Africans lie to get citizenship, is it then hypocrisy? She is a product of a lie, allegedly by her parents. They used the disguise of coming to the UK for medical treatment, but they were there for birth tourism, and they gave birth to her, and she became a citizen of the UK. Now, she is claiming that Africans come and lie about their situations back at home in order to get citizenship. Hypocrisy. That is what your parents did. You are a product of the alleged lie you are claiming that Africans do. There are many Africans coming to the UK that are running away from war, trauma, every other thing. And for you to sit there when your well-to-do parents actually did something similar, allegedly, and point a finger at other people who are running away from situations that are horrible in their home country, then there is something wrong with you, Femi. Your parents were well-to-do. Your mom was a lecturer. Your dad owned a clinic. They were educated people. They must have read the law. What would have happened if someone had pointed the finger at them? And you was pointing the finger. I hope you remember the 4 other fingers are pointing back at you. Your mother was a psychology lecturer, and her husband owned a private medical clinic in Lagos. You guys were privileged to drivers, cars, and every other thing. Back in the 80s. And yeah, you point a finger at people who are actually running away from war and colonial wars put upon them by the same colonial masters you are trying to defend. Should we talk about Iran, the war caused by the British in Iran, due to the fact that they wanted to take the people's resources? Or should we talk about the DRC? Or should we go to slavery? As long as someone is coming to the UK and they see that their claim is correct and valid, you have no reason to point a finger and say they are lying. If they are lying, Femi, you can go ahead, Do your own research, investigate, and come and debunk them and point a finger, say, oh, you guys are lying. And then we will go back and see if your parents also were telling the truth. The hypocrisy of people, after they have gotten access through something, they just want to close the door on other people. People are running away from issues. Your parents were not running away from issues. If your mom was there for a medical treatment, she also knew she was pregnant and she was supposed to give birth there. Look at Kemi's life. Kemi spent much of her childhood in Lagos, attending elite international schools, living comfortable in what she later called tough conditions because of water and power issues. But her family had a car, a driver, and access to the elites. At 16, she returned to the UK alone and began working at McDonald's while studying her A-levels before earning a degree in engineering. This is another thing that I find funny, because if you have worked at McDonald's, you know how McDonald's are. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And for you to compare the fact that there is no water, there's no electricity in Nigeria, and maybe the generator was provided to you, and there is no water, but then I'm sure you have water to drink or to take a shower. For you to make that kind of analogy, it's funny and sad. It is really sad to see Africans just downplay Africa as if they are not good things. You lived in luxury, ma'am. That's a luxurious life. You have a car, a driver, they pick you up, international boarding schools. Those schools are very expensive. People beg to send their children to boarding schools. But here you are, you had access to it. And you have the courage to say it was tough. What was tough there? Did you want to sit in your community, in your area, and you're unable to clean around you? I saw in your interview you mentioning you were supposed to use a machete and clean. My goodness, you should be a very dirty woman if you cannot clean your surroundings. Who was supposed to come and clean the surroundings for you? That is where you live. Even at this point, I see people with children say you have to make up your bed. Femi wanted to stay in an environment and let the proprietors of the school get someone to come and clean for her. Wow. Even to this age, I'm not saying boarding schools are all good, but the fact that someone is angry and saying life was tough in a boarding school because they had to clean up after them, it's puzzling. And I wonder what other things needed to be cleaned up for you. Femi is married to Kemi Badenoch, a British banker and a Conservative Party member. They are practicing Catholics, and despite her own public doubts about her faith, she raised her children in the church. Femi, her father, identifies as a conservative, and Kemi apparently to have inherited more than just his politics. She inherited a disdain for cultural reflection. In one of her public comments, Badenoch claimed that many Africans come to the UK and US and lie about persecution. But this is more than ironic. It's insulting. Why people fled wars in Mali, Sudan, DRC, Somalia, Cameroon, but they not dismiss their suffering as fraud. And yet, her own mother came to give birth, likely knowing that British citizenship will offer. She calls out dishonest, yet her family leveraged the same system. That's not principle, that's hypocrisy. Your mom had no reason to come to the US or to Britain to have you. But yet she did. She was comfortable. And here you are dismissing the suffering of people running away from war-torn areas, saying they are coming to lie. When you have if I were you, I would be the immigration minister so that each case that comes into me, I go and investigate. Because as long as the people who have done the investigations say this person's claim is legit, then it is legit. Her comment on one of her most shocking statement came from a leaked WhatsApp message. In a group chat with other conservatives, Badenoch reportedly said, "I don't care about colonialism. They are just a different bunch of winners and losers. There were never any concept of rights in Africa before colonialism." So what this black woman, which perhaps her family was crying, maybe since her family were the elites, maybe the ones that were actually in cahoot with the colonial masters, because why make a statement like this, that there were no right from wrong prior to colonialism? Is something wrong with this lady? From anybody who knows history, let's just even go to the Bible, which most people will agree. Where is Egypt? And from when Egypt is, we know that the Egyptians are not these Egyptians right now. We know about mass immigration, how that led into. We know about the slavery of the Arabs, how that became. The Egyptians of the Bible were black-skinned, those who built the pyramids like me. Those were black-skinned people. So what you're trying to say is, no, they were just savages that decided to build a pyramid. They didn't know what was right from wrong. Oh, how can they? We had to wait for the colonial masters to come and tell us, oh no, if you enslave this person, it's good. It's hypocrisy of this woman just gets on my nerve each and every time I see her up on TV saying something so disgusting each and every day. And I do understand why she says that, because she's catering to the old racist white men. But cater, you can do it in another way. Do not diminish a whole continent's progress. You can go and diminish your own self, your family, your integrity, everything. But don't say Africa, you talk colonialism. Maybe we should start digging and see who were those who were in favor of that colonialism in Africa. Because maybe your parents were the ones that benefited, because in the 80s they were rich. Why shouldn't we point a finger at your own? You don't care about colonialism. You don't, in short, you shouldn't care about anything black. Start by taking off the dreads, the rest of your hair. You can perm your hair and make it long. Yeah, you can. And please don't forget, you can use, there are so many things for you to use and change your color. You don't even need to identify as black. What nonsense is this lady talking about? Africa had roots. We know about the kingdom of Ethiopia, where the wise men, we know where the wise men came from in the Bible. Are you kidding me? They came from the east on camel. Where were camel? There's something wrong with this or this sex London woman. There's something wrong with her. I really don't like putting women on a blast like this, but her hypocrisy is just too much. It's just too much for us to fathom. How can she say that? A black woman born of African blood claims African societies didn't understand right or wrong before the British came. This is not just wrong, it's disgraceful. Africa had kingdoms, laws, ethics, justice system, civilization that thrived long before European roots stepped on the soil. To say otherwise is to peddle white supremacists, talking points wrapped in a black face. You should have been during the time of Jim Crow. They would have you'd have made way more money than you're doing now, spitting out disgusting things like this. On the Rosebud podcast, she said, I no longer identify as Nigerian. Mama, this is the best statement you have made. Don't identify as Nigerian. Carry your white self and go to Europe. Identify as European. Who cares? Deny your roots. See, African traitors, even those born on African soil or those with black skin, we have to name them, because those are the people that are used to bring us down. They use those people to bring us down. Madam, very good for you. Don't identify as Nigerian. If you do have a dual citizenship, if I'm Nigerian authorities, I'll call for you to take back that citizenship and you go and identify as a European woman. After growing up in Lagos, attending school in Nigeria, and being raised by Nigerian parents, she now sees no part of herself in the continent. But somehow she still thinks she qualifies to comment on their system, its people, and a struggle. This is the very definition of cultural betrayal. Badenoch Kemi told CNN that her children can't inherit Nigerian citizenship because she is a woman. See, prior to me traveling abroad, I used to think African women didn't have freedom. But with me coming abroad and seeing how men want to control women in every way they can, African women have freedom because an African woman can get up and go to the farm and spend even 2, 3, 4 days. Her husband would just like, okay, ma, she's the farm. Back then, an African woman can say, oh, Oga, I'm going to do business here. And the husband will say, oh, okay, madam, fine. Yeah, and this, you people need to take permission from your husbands. And then you guys are the ones that will come up and say, oh, African women are in bondage. I do know there are some things that needs to be changed, but the fact that it's because you're a woman that you cannot give citizenship to your children, it's a very big lie, and you know it because you're educated. It's a very big lie. I can imagine the number of lies. If you can just lie easily like that, something that is easily debunked. I can imagine the way you just give it to your husband back forth, to your children. You raise a system of deceitful people because you come on international TV and you say, oh, I cannot give Nigeria. What kind of lie is that? The law is there. Me, who is not Nigerian, I know if I want to become a Nigerian, I know how I can do it to become a Nigerian. Under Section 25 of Nigerian Constitution, any child born abroad to either Nigerian parents is a Nigerian citizen by birth. It is there. And madam, you just see this woman lies, eh? That's the part that people are talking about. I'm like, no, the country, the way she lies. If you see her smiling, let's watch the video. Have you seen how easy it is for this lady to just lie? She just gave it easy. She's not even say, oh no, let me check, maybe. No, oh, because I'm a woman, I can. Are you serious, ma'am? Even me, who's not Nigerian, I know how to get Nigerian citizenship. Then you, who is educated and Nigerian, you cannot. What kind of lie is this now, auntie? Eh? Is that this your own white supremacy is coming but with lies back and forth? There is gender restriction. Human rights lawyer Kemi Badenoch publicly debunked her claims, calling it all ignorant. No, it's not even ignorance. It's stupidity. Stupidity of first order. Nigerian law even accepts dual nationality, dual citizenship. And you are here talking around nonsense. Because you have a platform of old white people. So why does this lady lie this much? If she doesn't want her children to, as you said, be Nigeria, that is good. That's your choice. You gave birth to them. Good. We want to know who our enemies are. I don't want to be eating garri with somebody and then the person put poisons in it. Say you don't want your people to, you don't want, as you said, with Nigerians or with Africans, it is good. But do not weaponize it. Do not make false claims. Do not weaponize it. Playing victim. Let's watch the video. Here she is lamenting about cutting grass in school. What they see as child labor it's very different from what we Africans always see as child labor. My dear, I started going to the farm by 5 years when my mother started. We go to the farm. I did the ones I could. When they harvested, I could pick and put on the bucket. Because that's how the skills are passed down to the next generation. I did not have to wait till I was 17 to go and learn how to do farming. Femi lamenting her experience in a Nigerian boarding school where students were required to cut grass with machete. She framed it as barbaric. Somebody should slap this lady for me. That is an African culture. Who should clean up for you? Even up to now, I want we children to be tough. We want the children to know how to walk. You clean your surroundings, you wash your clothes, you sweep the room, you sweep the floor. That is not child abuse. And see, barbaric is the fact that your colonizers came into a land that was prosperous and killed people and enslaved some. Are you people serious? That is the barbaric act you should be condemning each and every day. Or the act of war that your country, your colonizers, taking part in genocides and killing people each and every day. Those are barbaric acts for you to condemn. But yet we don't see you condemning it. You clap for it. And you say using machete to cut grass is barbaric. There's something wrong with this lady. Someone should pinch her or give her a slap for me. Kemi is not just a politician. She's a dangerous voice because she uses her blackness to justify anti-black policies. She uses her Nigerian name to gain credibility while disowning Nigeria. She says Africans are lazy, dishonest, and uncivilized, then climb to power on their back. Her dismissal of repatriation, her critics on anti-race policy, her ignorance of African history, and her denial of colonial trauma marks her not just as a politic figure, but as a mouthpiece of imperial comfort. Africa does not want her back. Please, UK, you people take her. You people take her on. We are not asking for Kemi back. We're not asking for her return. In fact, we thank her for declaring her allegiance to the West. Let her loyalty remain to the dying empire she worships. Africa does not want betrayal in blackface. She has shown her card. She is not one of us. And her name now joins the list of those who swore the crown of Africa only to spit on it. Let her keep her new name, her borrowed whiteness, and her imaginary righteousness. Because in this generation, we name the traitors we will never forget. History will remember you, Kemi. For this thing you were saying, Kemi, the internet never forgets. A child born through immigration, now rejecting others. It is horrible, this generation. And so what if a problem, Nigeria doesn't have electricity? Is that the worst thing not to have? At least Nigeria does not have the blood of colonization on its hands. Nigeria doesn't have the blood of killing millions upon black people. It doesn't have the blood of enslaving people in its hands. Yet you're backing the colonizers. You're clapping for them. It's so disgusting. As I said it, African traitors in black faces will be called out. We will know them. History will remember you. History will judge you. You can stay in that dying empire. And then she said, oh, when Africans travel, they should keep their culture. Did your colonial masters keep their culture when they were coming to Africa? They did not. So we will not keep our culture when we're coming to their. Why should we? For if we know, right? So we learn from them, and they are the best as per you. We learn from the colonial masters. They came with their language, they came with their food, they came and they stole the things that were good in the culture. So the whole world, those that have been colonized, those that have been enslaved, they can come and do same. That is what they did. The rest of the world can come do same. So Kemi, please stay in your whiteness and see. We clap for you. Good job. Hi everyone. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you love what I say, if you love what I do. Thank you.